What is up, everybody? Welcome back to The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante, episode number 7 with me, GamerKnoob. Let's get on with the show, shall we? The 3 lots. There are only a few days left until the Imperial College entrance exam. History, law, theology. You spend all day reading and rereading the books you brought with you, staying at the Library of Eterna for hours, sometimes until it closes. As the day of your exams approach, your hands start shaking more and more, and finally the day comes. A clear sky hangs over Eterna today. The breeze is warm. You dress in your best outfit, a gray jacket and a velvet culotte trousers. You comb your hair carefully and polish your boots until they shine. You leave the lodging house and head for the Imperial College. Your legs grow heavier with each step. Your anxiety at the fact of your fate will be decided today is virtually tearing you apart. The college is a majestic building that looks not unlike a castle. In the square in front of it, you can already see dozens of people, young men, sons of nobles of the mantle, like you, waiting for the college doors to open. Time slows to a walk. At last, the doors open. A stately man dressed in a professor's mantle appears at the entrance. He is the dean of the college. The students fall silent as the dean gets ready to deliver his welcoming speech. But the silence is interrupted by heavy footsteps and clanking armor. A squadron of warriors emerge near the college, led by Arknian officers. Their banner bears an image of golden grains, the noble militia of the Monian province. What are they doing here? The nobles of Monia form a circle around the college, each warrior moving quietly and precisely until a chain is formed. One of the Arknians is clad in an old-fashioned suit of armor. He is the leader of the militia. He locks the bar on massive doors of the college into place, then proceeds to the stairs to address the crowd quickly. Commoners, before you stands Agrius of Monero, Dynasty, Archduke of Monia. By my will, the college is hereby closed and today's entrance exam is cancelled. Your lowly origins make you unfit for the great honor of rendering service to the Empire. It's there's a few typos in this chapter so far. A right that ought to be only available to the hereditary nobles of the sword. The college's reputation has been tarnished. It breeds mock nobles who bear not a trace of noble blood. You belong in the lowly estate, but you have forgotten your place. Cornelius Tempest and other traitors to the Empire are indulging you in defacing this institution of the nobility for their lowly entrance. A noble lot for those of lowly birth. How can this be? I will not stand for this disintegration of the Imperial Order. Now turn away from the college this instant and return to your humble trades of your ancestors. Plow your fields, mend your boots, and work and suffer by your lot. If any of you dares to set foot upon these stairs, you will be killed at once. The students-to-be meet this speech with a stunned silence. The crowd in the square is growing, however. The news of the Monian noble militia in the college is closing spreads to the streets like wildfire. More humans join the crowd, college students, commoners, officials who worked hard to be a noble. Unrest grows around you. You hear people calling to rush Archduke Monero's forces to take control of the college and defend your right to become noble. The Emperor himself gave us this right. We have to fight for it. This is a decisive moment for all of you. The old gentry has challenged you. Will you accept this challenge? In the face of this shameful, illegal act by the Archduke's forces, you may have to prove that all of you deserve the noble lot. You will need to break through the cordon of it, get inside the college, and take control of it. The nobles will never dare hurt you if your presence is strong enough. If you're ready to risk it all and fight for your right to the nobility, you will have to lead the charge. People keep coming to the square in the meantime, including students and teachers from the Divine Seminary. The lot of the clergy is to guide others to the right path. When the estates clash, the priests are bound to intervene. The seminary teachers instruct their students to form a line between the noble militia and the outraged crowd. The priests begin telling the warrior nobles and the rioter commoners to return to the preordained divine order lest they provoke the wrath of the gods. The wrath of the gods. As the priests utter these words, the crowd around you disappears. A vision appears before your eyes. The empire is ablaze. You see burning lands steeped with pain and despair everywhere. You look, rivers overflowing to extinguish the burning world. You can tell that soil scorched by such fire will never bear fruit again. The gods given visions demand to be heard, demand to be prophesied to the world, but only a priest may speak to the twins and for the twins. Will you keep it inside, or will you step onto the path the twins have revealed to you? Somebody shoves you in the back and you snap out of the vision. You turn around to see a small but decisive troop of commoners moving quickly through the crowd. They are led by Sophia. As soon as she sees you, she signals them to stop. So you're here too. Going to rush the college, are you? Can't you see it already? The laws cannot be trusted. They gave you the right to study here just to throw you a bone. When the going gets tough, your masters will take it all away. It's time for you to decide. We are the Lotless, and we are not putting up with the system any longer. We will fight for a new world. Are you coming with us, or are you going to submit to them? There are students and professors locked inside the college. Who knows how long Monroe will maintain the siege? And what if they start slaughtering people? Neither group of nobles will care what happens to them. We're going to go inside and pull them out. Come with us if you're ready to take control of your own destiny. The tension in the square is palpable, and the situation is about to implode. Students, commoners, nobles of the mantle will follow the new faith, all of them gathering their forces to move on the wall of soldiers. They expect the nobles to let them through en masse. Surely they won't start a massacre. The Lotless, led by Sophia, prepare to break through the siege to rescue the people in the college. And all the while, the priests preach peace to both sides of the conflict. The college is your only way into nobility. Only you can fight for your new lot and fulfill your duty to your family. You could organize an offensive strong enough to get into the college, and thus seize your lawful right like a true nobleman. Yet the revelation about the wrath of God still poses in your mind. Once revealed, this vision will take you on a different path. Standing with the priests and preaching what you have just seen, warning of all of the dire danger on the path of warring estates, bringing the twins' word to the people and guiding them to salvation. Could this be your new lot? Sophia and the Lotless. They expect you to join their struggle. They are waiting for you to cast off the old ways and the eternal yoke of subservience. If you choose this path, you will not change your lot. Your suffering will continue, but your suffering might just change this world. This is the moment. Your future will be decided here and now. I'm not doing the priest one. I think that's a really cool storyline, and I might play through it again on my own time to go through that. But I'm not doing that one. I want to side with Sophia and the Lotless. I feel like I can change more maybe from like their angles. I think I'm going to follow the Lotless. You join Sophia and her men and try to rescue them. You have decided. The storm of doubt in your mind clears at last. You're done serving the will of others. You will defy your lot, and you will not need another. You are free already, and for this freedom, you are ready to sacrifice anything. You walk to the Lotless as Sophia smiles at you. Her companions pat you on the shoulder, and then you get to work. The Lotless withdraw from the mob in the square and prepare for the raid. They are strong people of lowly birth, and their clothes are covered in dirt and soot. They hang on Sophia's every word. So this plan is simple. I will go to the warriors by the side gate and distract them. You know me, I have my ways. The rest of you must get inside the college and lead the people outside. When you are done, wait for my signal. Sparks of yellow flash in Sophia's eyes. She walks with confidence to the nobles guarding the side gate. They meet her with drawn swords, and then a flash of yellow light fills her eyes. The warriors freeze in place. Sophia walks away, and they follow her obediently. The path is clear. You hear one of the Lotless gasp in awe. That's our owl, all right. Only she can do that. It's time. You open the gate and get inside the college, leaving the cries of the mob behind you. Nobody stops you. Once this is done, you scatter to search the halls for students and professors. They are not too eager to trust the trespassing commoners, but with the Arknian swords hanging over their heads, they trust you anyway. Your student garb helps you convince them. You take everyone you can out of the college with the same unguarded gate. The Lotless take a roll call in the alleyway behind the college. You rescued almost 24 men. Sophia is the last to reach you. It is time to leave. The maze of hidden alleyways takes you to safety to a patch of abandoned land. Sophia clambers up on the half-crumbled wall of an old house. She lights her pipe and gestures confidently for everyone to come closer. Welcome all. We are all the Lotless. We are the people who will never stand for the injustice of the Imperial system. We live as we see fit. We have no masters, only our free will. Join our ranks and you will be forever free from the whims of the Arknians and the gentry. Walk away and they will be free to do with you as they see fit. I believe today was a fair show of their intentions. The freed students exchange glances. If they join you, their hopes of being ennobled by the mantle will be cut short. But they already saw how precarious their position is. Many of them are enraged by the fact that the Arknians can take their rights whenever they please. We won't force you to stay. You're free to leave and go back to the college when it opens, if it opens. But if you don't want to dance to their tune anymore, the Lotless welcome you. Many students joined the ranks of the Lotless that day. You are among them. You are greeted by the motto of the Lotless. Our cause is just. Your new life has begun. Your life as a member of an outlaw brotherhood. There is no going back. You will be neither nobleman nor priest. Your father will never forgive you for letting the family down. But for the first time in your life, you feel truly free. You have defied your lot. Now your fate is yours alone. What will happen next? I'm upset that that I'm gonna let my family down, but I'm hoping maybe I'll make it better for them and everybody. You remain in a common estate with no choice but to fend for yourself and make your own way in the world. Path of the Lotless. Of friendship. You return to the lodging house one last time to gather your belongings for the move to your new home. A young man dressed in the uniform of a military academy greets you by the door. Takes you a moment to recognize Thomas. Your friend locks you in an embrace. Brante, hey, how are you? I heard about the nasty stuff that went down in the college square. Those damn gentry would do anything to keep lowborn folks under their thumb. Glad the situation resolved itself. As for me, I'm an academy cadet now. He's beaming with pride. You invite him in and chat while you pack. Thomas continues to relay the news as you walk up the stairs. Made it into the top 10, can you imagine? Did pretty well in sparring in the sciences. It's all thanks to the help you gave me back in school in Anazot. I'll be studying the art of war now, and then it's a quick march to the noble title. How about you? You tell Thomas about what happened over the past few days and of the path you have chosen. He remains quiet as you speak. Both of you realize that you may never see each other again. You know, Brante, here's what I think. You may have your own path in life, but you're my friend. We gotta make sure our friendship lasts forever, no matter what happens to us. Here, I brought 2 brass rings. If the old tradition is to be believed, both the rings and their wearers will always remain close to each other, no matter where their fate takes them. What do you say? The two of you grew up side by side. Thomas, the audacious, hot-blooded, sharp-tongued boy who used to live next door. You can't imagine your childhood without him. But would it be right to promise him that your friendship will last forever, no matter what happens? The 2 rings made of plain brass lie in his open palm. If you wear these rings, you will be bound by ties of friendship for the rest of your life. I want to swear an oath! Why can't I swear an oath? Oh. I mean, I'm definitely going to take the ring. Yeah. Oh, we need a Path of the Nobleman to swear an oath. Okay. It wasn't popping up over there for me, or I just didn't see it because I'm blind half the time. Take one of the rings from her outstretched palm. The 2 of you have walked side by side ever since you were children. Even though your paths in life may diverge, nothing will ever tarnish your bond. You are ready to preserve your friendship in brass forever. You put the brass ring on your pinky, a perfect fit. Thomas does the same. He starts beaming again. Now we're friends forever, for all eternity. We gotta celebrate this. Come, I know a place. I gotta show you. Tastiest mead I've ever had, Brante. My treat. The 2 of you go to a noble salon by the square of Emperor Severin. Surrounded by tobacco smoke and mead bottles, you wag your tongues, recall the days of your adolescence, and make plans for the future. Nobody knows what could be awaiting for you, but you promise you will never lose sight of each other. Your friendship is strong enough to stand the test of time. Yeah, it is. What has happened? Boom. You and Tomas form an unbreakable bond of friendship. Nice. I like the little events, like the little trigger points for your stats and stuff. If they're like at a certain point, you get to do it. A letter from home. You write a letter home and tell them you have failed to get into the college. There is no other way. Father would have learned everything one way or another. It is an easy letter to write. He did send you to the capital specifically to attend the college, after all. You write about Archduke Monorog's assault and the students' doubtful future now that their right to be ennobled by the mantle may be revoked. You tell them that you plan to get a job in the capital and earn a living. They should accept your choice. The reply from your family arrives very quickly. We sent you to the capital with a sole purpose, but you failed. Indeed, nobody expected an attack on the college, but you could have upheld your right to study there had you been more firm. Cornelius Tempest will ensure the college opens again, yet you have already rejected the nobleman's lot. And to what end? You can only accept your choice now, but you will no longer receive any support from the family. It is up to you to earn your keep. I can only hope that you will not disappear in the capital. This entire siege incident is nothing but a poor excuse. You failed to uphold your right to enter the college. And that is the end of it. It cost Father so much time and money to send you to the capital, and you rejected it all. And for what? To remain a commoner until the end of your days? I hoped you would one day become my equal, but now the very thought of this is just absurd. There is another letter. It is from Gloria. It seems neither Father nor Stefan knew she sent it. Sir Robert smashed a vase when he read your letter. Stefan screamed at the top of his lungs about lowborn and foul bloods. Fortunately, I led Mother and Nathan away before we got all in trouble. But I'm proud of you. You defied Father's will and went against all expectations, against this entire rotten system. You made this decision now. Follow it to the end. I believe this path will lead you somewhere worthy. Take good care of yourself, my brother. Aww. You know what? We're still decent. And then Gloria loves us. That's nice. The Lotless. You cast one final glance over the room where you lived for so long. Here is the table at which you sat studying all those books. Here is the bed on which you dreamed your dreams of the future. Your things are packed. You walk down to the stairs. The landlord's servile smile is gone now. The unspent remainder of the funds allocated for your accommodations drop onto the counter from his reluctant hand. And then he turns away. You have no lot now. You are free. Free even from the knowledge of your tomorrow. You have to cast away your destiny. But for what? This remains to be seen. The Brante family will support you no longer, but you have to find a place to stay in the capital so you can aid the Lotless, and so you seek Sophia. I'm afraid I can't offer you a noble estate, but we found a basement in an abandoned house and made it our home. It is on the bank of the Reglata, by the river port. It's livable. There's only one room for everyone, so bring your own bedding. But it's warm and clean, and we have food and a place to keep our things. You'll be safe. After all those carriage rides, going through the city streets on foot isn't half bad. The bayside wind still gets under your skin, but it also cools you down on hot days. Not that you need it. You were born in Anazot in the very southernmost part of the Empire, and the hot season in the capital is nothing compared to the real heat in Magra. You recall the hot days in the garden, sitting with your father and talking about the lots, about your future in the capital. He used to look at you with such pride. He was so confident you would follow in his footsteps. A chilling gust of wind snaps you out of it. Enough nostalgia. It's time for you to face the future you've chosen for yourself. The house where the Lotless live is close to the port. The basement entrance is hard to find, but you eventually locate it. Inside is one large room with bedding and belongings strewn about all over the floor. You find some free space in one of your corners, so you place your bedding and your things nearby. Then you take a good look around. There's only a handful of people in this building. You introduce yourselves to them. They show you the utilities, a small kitchen, and a room with a stove, and several buckets of water. If you need more water, the river is right nearby. You ask them about how long they've lived here. About 8 months, one of the Lotless tells you. They took over this basement back when they had only 10 members. Most of them were more or less homeless, disowned by their families, expelled from college, academia, or seminary. Sophia found a place where they could live together. Everyone sleeps in the basement and meets in the abandoned house above. Sophia certainly is thoughtful, you intone. That she is, your fellow Lotless says, nodding. She takes good care of us, but she's also really secretive and demands that we follow her orders to the letter. Even after all these months, nobody knows where she lives. She only shows herself when she deems it necessary. Soon you come to know the Lotless better, and you see they truly believe in what they are doing. At present, they are trying to expand their ranks and convince the common folk that the present order in the Empire can and must be fought. You can do this, and you have to believe you can do this, and you have to do whatever Sophia says. Some of the students you rescued are also here. With their arrival, the ranks of the Lotless practically doubled. The events at the college turned them against the current system. They are eager to act, and so are you. Sophia meets with every newcomer in private. It takes a few days before she finally speaks to you too. Sophia is sitting at a desk behind a pile of paper. She looks worn out, but still smiles at you. Hi. There is a reason I wanted to talk to you last. Our ranks are growing, but not everyone is smart and learned and as cunning as you. I need results, and I expect to get them from you. We have to tell the common folk the truth about what happened at the college. Doesn't matter how we do it, the Lotless will never forget, and they will never forgive the nobles for what they did. You have to tell people we exist, and we have to recruit new members. I know you can think of a way to do both. I expect a report in 1 week at our next meeting. Good luck. Sophia stops talking and looks at you. You nod. There's something else you want to tell her, but you have no plan just yet, and it seems she has no time for small talk. You leave the meeting room. What will you do now? How can you tell people about the Lotless without everyone getting arrested? The best place to do this would be somewhere in the outskirts of the city, in the markets and taverns where commoners tend to gather. You spend the rest of the day strolling through the city streets. After a night of pondering, you have 3 ideas. Your first idea is the safest. Print a lot of leaflets and spread them all across Eterna. Tiny papers are easy to hand out, and all it takes is a few printed words that hit home. And a printing press, you can even find a print shop that will support your cause. Plan number 2. Talk about the Lotless to anyone willing to lend an ear. This is a more reliable option. After all, people tend to believe other people more than words on paper. It's more dangerous too. It's easier to arrest an orator than an author, and your numbers are too few as it is. And then there's plan number 3. The city is still abuzz after what happened at the college. Somewhere out on those frantic streets are people willing to heed your call. Instead of wasting time and effort telling everyone about the Lotless, perhaps you should focus on recruiting. What do we want to do? I think I want to print leaflets, I think I want to print leaflets. I just wanted to see what the condition to do this one was. Yeah, I think I want to print leaflets. The Lotless. Printing leaflets is the safest way to go. They will tell everyone the truth about the events at the college, and you will stay safe all the while. Now to find a place to print them. Your newfound comrades give you the name of the editor of a local newspaper called Imperial Sunrise. He sympathizes with the Lotless. He even gave Sophia shelter in their attic once during a raid. It's time to write the text that will be printed. The Arknians consider us dirt beneath their horses' hooves. They will do anything to bring us down and stay in power. Do you know what happened at the college? Did you hear Archduke Monorogues mocking humans and threatening to kill anyone who entered the college? We did. Did you see him ready to kill innocent students inside the college before they were rescued? We did. Arknians think they can do whatever they want. Will they keep on living under their thumb, or are you ready to make a change? This looks good. Sophia takes a look too and nods. She writes a brief note on a piece of paper and tells you to head for the editor's house. Give the note to the servant and everything will be ready. The editor lives in a wealthy neighborhood, and there are planters with flowers in them at every door on his street. The door knocker shines in the sun like a mirror. You glimpse your reflection in the metal before you grab it. The servant opens the door. He glances at the note and asks for the text to be printed. It will be ready in a week, he says, and then the door is locked again. You return 1 week later and receive a big stack of leaflets. You divide them among the Lotless. It only takes a single day to distribute them all. The streets of the town. On the following day, you already hear people talking. The nobles have done it this time. We better do something. It's time for a change. The next time you meet Sophia, she rewards you with restrained praise. Well done, noob. I expected nothing less from you. I'm glad to have you among us. Yeah. And we're getting closer to clever. I want to be clever. Hey, year 1136. We're 18 years old now. The Trial of the 50. You have lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the Trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. They are accused of treason and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favor of reducing the power of the nobles and granting more rights to the common estate. There is no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Every session of the trial is open to the public. It is a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict, forced labor in the mines of Magra and Illyria for regular members and true death for their leaders, 6 men and 1 woman. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. You remember the woman. Her name was Annie Siren. She made a speech for her execution. A young woman, not too tall, her face almost plain with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm even at this moment. You cannot believe she is about to leave this world forever. Annie Siren takes a long look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you are close enough to hear every single word. She says she is happy to give her lives, fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die. Annie claims others like her will continue their work in hiding, for their cause is just and right. She is dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks on the lever and the 7 dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontent in the crowd. Apparently order went up because of that, but power went down. Interesting. The ranks of the Lotless are growing steadily now. It's getting harder and harder to breathe in your makeshift meeting hall. People are coming from all across Eterna. Most of them are commoners, laborers, craftsmen, ear students, and all of them feel that the social order based on the Lots is out of date. They are always discussing this, both at the major meetings and one-on-one. How can you change society without taking up arms? How can you defend those who suffer at the nobles' hands? You write several articles for a newspaper that is sympathetic to your cause. You cover the pages of the Imperial Sunrise with freedom-loving ideas. Before your words reach the printed page, you let Sophia read them. I like your articles. They really sting. They burn with a genuine fervor and true audacity, and most importantly, you've been calling for action more and more. Our cause is just, and I know it well, but your words light a fire in men's hearts. They bring hope for change. I'd never be able to do this without you, Brante. Thank you. It's time for another meeting of the Lotless. Sophia calms the crowd before she begins. My friends, it's time for us to act. We are strong. We are united. We are many. Our cause is just. Her words are met with cries of support, and your voice joins them. Sophia smiles, but there is still a hard, controlled edge in her eyes. 1 month from now, the Empire will hold the ritual of purification in St. Ignatius Square. Mages and witches who refuse to repent and wear collars will be murdered in a public execution. The church is preparing carefully for this, but these witches never asked for this. They were branded at birth. Our lot is to suffer, but theirs is something far worse. The Inquisition's collar takes away everything. Your family, your estate, your freedom, your will. A mage becomes a weapon for the Inquisition. They are stripped of their lot and placed in this world. Mages are the true Lotless. A witch's collar is the worst prison of all. We must set them free. Their freedom will mark the beginning of a freedom for the entire empire. The cries of approval die down, replaced by a growing mumble of confusion. Nobody in the room wants to openly defy the Inquisition. Sophia raises her hand, her eyes glinting in the reflected golden candlelight. The room falls silent. We are not going to wage war against the Inquisition. What we're going to do is hold a march to support the mages. This will be our statement. We will seek the support of Patriarch Junius Diamond. He says that those who wield magic have the same rights as anyone else in the Empire. He seeks to give mages and freedom to find their own way to the twins. We are going to show the Patriarch that we have heard his words and are ready to openly heed his call. I am a mage myself. He took off my collar and allowed me to choose my own path. I am going to give every mage and witch the same chance. Nobody ever chooses to be born with magic, but mages have the right to choose to abandon their power and follow the twins. Our cause is just. Sophia lets the others speak their minds. Some fully support the march, others hesitate, unsure of what to do. There's a small group of people who reject the idea outright. Magic is evil, they say. Witches are dangerous. Supporting witches means defying the twins. Sophia leans over them, an angry spark dances in her eyes. I am a witch, and yet you followed me. You chose to trust me. There's no time left for doubt. If you're not ready to walk this road, it would be best for you to leave the Lotless right away. Several people leave the hall, some of them ashamed, others grim. They all get a parting message from Sophia. Her cry rings to the basement and out into the street. You will tell them nothing. Everyone else grows quiet. This is the first time anyone has seen the leader of the Lotless shout like that. Sophia drops back into her chair and asks everyone except for you and 3 others to leave. You know these 3 Lotless. Sophia uses them for special assignments. Get ready to hear what she has to say. The goal of our march is to get Junius Diamant's attention. We need his patronage. It is essential that he hear about us and support our movement. Without his aid and influence, our fight is doomed. With that, Sophia starts giving orders. She sends a young man to get collars, tells a lively girl to gather people and prepare banners, instructs a lean Legion soldier to plan out the shortest route and the best location to begin the march. Then Sophia dismisses them. It is only the 2 of you now. The basement room you use as a meeting hall grows empty and quiet, and you finally notice how tiny and exhausted Sophia looks. Dark rings encircle her eyes, and her skin is gray as parchment. She worked so hard for your sake. After a moment of quiet, Sophia speaks to you about the Imperial Legion. I don't want to scare the others too soon, but I think you know what I'm going to say. If they have trained legionnaires guarding the square instead of Prefecture Gerandums, the soldiers won't stand on ceremony. Some people might die during this march. You spend half the night planning escape routes in case you have to run for your lives. By the time the plan is finally ready, both of you are on the verge of nodding off. There is one more thing Sophia wants to discuss, however. Many people have joined the Lotless over the past few weeks, but we still don't have enough members. We need to attract other people on the streets in order to make our march stronger. People need to see that they aren't just misfits. Sophia has 2 ideas for attracting more people to the march, but you only have enough time to implement one of them. You could call upon the commoners who support the doctrine of Patriarch Fotis to join the march. Plenty of people in Eterna had to suffer at the hands of the Inquisition back when the new faith had first emerged. Those who rejected the Lots were treated like heretics and punished accordingly. Alternatively, you could seek support from clergy and the nobles, even among them many of their relatives and friends who have suffered at the hands of the Inquisition. Sophia looks up from her papers. These circles around her eyes are even darker now. She's barely reacting to the world around her. She is but a shadow of the confident young leader of the Lotless you saw speak at the meeting. She lights her pipe and throws herself back into her chair, her eyes half-lidded, looking utterly exhausted. It seems the decision is yours. Who do we want to mobilize? I want to reread this real quick. I'm just gonna read through it again. 2 ideas for March, but only commoners. Plenty of people on Eterna. Alternative, you can see this one from the clergy and the nobles. I think I'm gonna go for the nobles and the clergy, maybe. I like this idea too, though. You know what? I'm gonna work on my relationship with Sophia. Sophia smokes her pipe and sends rings of smoke flying through the room, thinking. You look around and notice a half-empty bottle of wine likely left behind by one of the Lotless. It doesn't take too long to find a somewhat clean mug and pour some wine in it for Sophia. Then you find another and pour some for yourself. Sophia glances at the mug of wine on the table, then at you. A little smile appears on her face, almost imperceptibly. For one brief second, she's the same girl from Anazai you used to know, with the sun shining in her eyes, but her smile almost immediately gives way to grief. She takes a sip of wine and winces. You try yours. This wine has gone sour. Thanks. That was very thoughtful of you. I'm glad you're here. Every day I realize more and more that I made the right choice. Would never be able to do this without you. She takes another sip, looking more and more relaxed now. You say you're also happy to be one of the Lotless. Going against your parents' wishes to find your own way was the right decision. Sophia lets herself assume a slightly more comfortable pose in the chair and smile a bit more. You could have been whatever you wanted, but you chose to join us. That's brave. If I do say so, we'd be enemies right now had you followed in your father's footsteps. Your face grows grim. Those who take by force and oppress and extort us should never rule. We shouldn't be the ones suffering because of them. It's all wrong, you know. I still have nightmares about it. Sophia's voice trails off suddenly, and you understand what she's talking about, the day when she was trampled. The memory of that moment is a blur, a mess, the street shaking under the thundering hooves, screams and cries, dogs barking, the arrogant Arknian barking orders, sparks of gold. You look away, burning with guilt. Sophia laughs ever so quietly. I rescued her! Don't blame yourself for that, it's the world, not you. Sophia leans in closer so that you can smell tobacco and wine. Her face is so near, and her lips are right by your ear. And we have to change it. She leans back and downs her wine. It's late. Go get yourself some sleep. I'll finish this on my own. The two of you go outside and say goodnight. You watch her walk away, wondering if she's really as strong as she looks, or if she's just really good at playing the part. Full power! We are now full power. Yes! Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode of The Life and Suffering of Sir Brante. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a like. If you've got anything to say, go to the comments below. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscription button and the bell. It helps me out a ton. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.